Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalam ala ashraf al-anbiya'i wal-mursaleen. Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'een. Amma ba'd, ikhwatul Islami ibadallah. The title of this particular video is The Fickle Women of Our Society, as you see in the description box. And the reality is that this particular video pertains to non-Muslim women in our society. And in reality, I'm doing this video to show the superiority of Al-Islam and to be thankful for the blessing that's been bestowed upon us as Muslims, men and women, for the guidance that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala has bestowed upon us, especially when considering the things that take place within the society, especially as it relates to male and female relations, And so I was motivated by doing this video based off a video that I saw earlier this week, dealing with the psychology of women in this society and the things that they do as it relates to relationships and seeking men and thus forth and so on. So before I proceed with what I want to detail, I want to just give the definition of fickle so that those who may not be familiar with the word can understand where I'm coming from. So fickle in a dictionary, it states changing frequently, especially as regards one's loyalties, interests, or affection, especially in those things. And this is a reality when looking at women within this society, when it comes to their affection and their loyalties. They change frequently. To the point that I cannot see how a non-Muslim man in this society could ever deal with the women within the society. And again, reflecting off their condition, it makes me thank Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala that I'm a Muslim upon the Quran and the Sunnah, and the structure that Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala brings to the situation of male and female relations. It's a tremendous blessing. And so when going into this particular subject matter, looking at the non-Muslim women in this society, the particular video was talking about how women create atmospheres or circumstances or of false hope to men. A woman who's out on a dating market may, in a nutshell, have the grass is greener on the other side of the fence mentality. They want a man, a good man, a man that's going to take care of them, a man that's going to care for them, a man that's going to do this and he's going to do that. And so this is their claim, and they attempt to go out and get that. But the whole time they have delusional expectations and delusional aspirations, to the point that a woman will find a man, she won't have the discernment as it relates to determining if he's beneficial for her or not, and she basically places him in a box and strings him along. And then she may deal with another man, although she's communicating with this person and there's an understanding of relationship and thus forth and so on. All it takes is another man who looks like, or who gives off the persona that he has what she's looking for, and she puts that one man in the box, and now starts to entertain and deal with this other man, while stringing that other man alone, the first man alone. And in some cases, some women may have 3 or 4 or 5 men that she's entertaining at the same time. Claiming that she wants the goal of a good man who's going to do A, B, C, D, and E for her. But at the same time, she's playing psychological games that denote that she's not really attached to and anchored to any of them. You know, and so in this particular video, the lady dealt with certain things that they may say or do, and she was trying to break down that this is all deceptive speech. Like, for instance, she says when they come with deceptive and vague speech concerning their wants and their feelings, statements like working on myself, or I have a lot going on right now, and things of that nature. Those are all code language, you know, for I'm interested but not interested. When my options run out, I may give you a chance, and things of that nature. And just stringing people along, regardless of what their feelings may be, giving them the impression that there's something that's there that's not. There's something that's there that's not. So again, if I was a man in this particular society, well, I am a man in this society, but I'm not upon the misguidance that they're upon, walillah alhamd. If I was a man that didn't have the guidance that I have, this would be confusing, this would be irritating, this would be frustrating, and it definitely would cause a lack of trust for the opposite sex. But alhamdulillah, Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala has bestowed upon the Muslim men and women in this society the favor of guidance. And when dealing with male and female relations, everything is structured. We don't have to deal with the type of playing games, the game playing that the men and women are subjected to in this society who are not Muslim. When we come into Islam and we're hoping and seeking to find a spouse, then the man, just like the woman, has to go after what they want. First, they have to be clear on what they want, and then they have to clearly go after what they want. And the way that things are structured out, the type of game playing that was mentioned, the stringing along of men, and you know, the giving the impression of one thing but really has no interest, but keeping a person around because that woman likes to be chased and all that is cut. The Islamic legislation cuts all that foolishness. So a woman, if she wants a particular man, she has to go after it, just like the man has to go after the woman that he wants. And on top of that, because most of the women in this society, the non-Muslim women, especially women in their 20s, they're not seeking advice from their elders. And at this point now, their elders are women that fell for the feminist movement. Women like my grandmother, they've been passed away. So they're not seeking advice from women who have wisdom that are going to give them upright and sound advice. No, they're influenced by the Nicki Minaj's, the Megan Thee Stallions, the Cardi B's. And when I say they're influenced by them, they're influenced by the type of music these women put out. That's their role models. And that's why they play the type of games that they play, and that's why they get the pitiful pitiful outcomes. Because we have to remember, whatever your outlook on life is, it influences your decision making. And whatever decisions you make, it influences your outcomes, or it dictates your outcomes. So if you have a negative perception of the world, then you're going to make decisions based off that. And those decisions are going to dictate the outcomes, your outcomes. And so if your decision making is negative, the outcomes are going to be negative. And this is why we have, unfortunately, in this society, baby mamas, Single mothers are in abundance. Marriage is on an all-time low amongst the non-Muslims. Divorce rates are high amongst the non-Muslim women. They say 80% of divorces are initiated by the women in this society, non-Muslim women, because they have delusional aspirations. The women of this society today are nothing like the women that were in about 2 generations above them. Nothing like that. But alhamdulillah, the Islamic legislation has detailed rights and obligations between men and women. The roles are clearly defined. We don't have to guesswork this. And so all the sister has to do and all the brother has to do is just stick to his deen, and all of these things work out. Now me, I've been married to my wife since 2015. It's now 2022 going on 2023. That woman has been locked down by me, walillah alhamd. Let's take a look at the average woman, and this is non-Muslim woman in this society. How many men has the average woman in this society been with from 2015 to now? How many men has the average woman been with in this time period? And then you start to see how disgusting and how misguided they are. Why would any man want to be in this so-called dating market? And so this is the point that I'm making when I say that this video in reality is highlighting the superiority of Allah's guidance and the fact that we need to be thankful that Allah guided us to Islam. Because just the marriage process, a woman always has a man over her. She can't marry herself, nor can she take herself out of the marriage without going back to a man. And when she's seeking marriage, that man, that wali or that wakil, is there to give her sound advice. And she can't string a man along during the courtship, because once she recognizes that she's done, she has to cut it. And it's not her responsibility to cut it. All she has to do is tell her wakil, no, I don't want to go any further. And he handles that. He handles that. So now this man is not being strung alone. This man now understands it's over. There's no heartbreak or whatever the case may be. He just has to drop the situation and move on. It's none of this dumb foolishness that the men in this society are going through. And so with that being said and done, then without a doubt, to the Muslims that are in this society, we have been given something tremendous. We have been given something great. We are people that are getting married. We are people that are maintaining families. We are people that are finding comfort and tranquility from our women. Not like the men in this society who are dealing with these women that are playing all these games, and in reality they're looking for something and not finding it. It's like they're going to the side of the mountain, bumping their head on the side of the mountain, hoping that they'll make a dent, and the only thing that's being fractured is their own skull. That's the reality. That's the reality. So in accordance with the statement of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, when it says, فَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ, and as for the blessings of your Lord, then convey them, then I am undoubtedly stating that the guidance of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, and regardless of what aspect of life it is a blessing for its adherent. And when we're dealing with male and female relations within Islam, there's no group of people in America that I know of that's getting married at the rate of the rate that we're getting married than the Muslims. The Muslims are the ones that are keeping marriage alive in this society, and Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala knows best. We're not fornicating. And generally speaking, we're not fornicating. Are there some fornicators amongst us? I'm pretty sure there are. But generally speaking, as Muslims practicing Islam as a lifestyle, we're not out here fornicating like that. We're getting married in a society where marriage is at an all-time low. So this is a tremendous blessing from Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala upon us. And we need to be extremely thankful that we were saved from that foolishness and brought to this guidance that just connects the dots. It connects all the dots. It improves the person who adheres to it. It improves the family structure, and it'll improve the society if the society was to embrace it. So all praise is due to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, who has guided us to this legislation. And this is just a reminder to the brothers and sisters, well, alhamdulillah, we're spared from the foolishness that the men and women in this society do as it relates to male and female relations. And with that, subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Those are just my thoughts that I wanted to share. Waffaqana Allahu wa iyyakum.